All right, so we've been working the last 3 months about getting that momentum going to the target earlier, getting us going down that mound. So old on the left, new on the right. We play that again for you. Excuse me. And we'll notice the old, we had to look down at the ground to be able to get that leg to come up, which prevents us from being able to getting that body going towards that target sooner. So as that leg's coming up, we can see that body starting to go towards that target, which then, as that leg is coming down, allows us to continue to go towards that target with more energy. What we're going to notice is as that front foot gets into the ground, that upper body is still rotating early. That front shoulder is opening up. We need to have that front shoulder staying closed when that front foot hits the ground. If we want to be able to throw the baseball harder, we need to store energy back for longer, meaning this front shoulder stays closed for longer. You opened it up, it's no longer staying closed and back. When we go around to the synced up video, we'll be able to see what that looks like with the front view and how that looks when your front shoulder opens early. Early is in reference to when that front foot hits the ground. We don't want the shoulders to rotate until after that front foot hits the ground. So on the second time watching it here, we will pause it when that front foot does hit the ground for you. So that way you can see and note the angle of your shoulders. When that front foot gets into the ground, we can not only see that your chin is not over your shoulder because your shoulder is opening up, your throwing arm is already coming through. So if you were going to punch someone and you're going to start your arm right, obviously you wouldn't have the hand up here. The hand would be more even with the elbow, but you wouldn't want to start that punch from here. You'd have that elbow way back here, and that hand would be like right here, and that would be your arm. Same thing with throwing. And the only way that can be back here is if this is not out here, which means this has got to be in there, which would take that back there. So that's what we mean when we say we got to get that foot down first, then rotate the throw. So if we're looking to throw the baseball harder and have significantly less stress on the arm when we throw, that's the mechanics we're going to want to work on. If you go on the YouTube playlist and the mechanical drills playlist, if you go on my YouTube page on the mechanical drills playlist, any and all of the upper lower half or hip shoulder separation series would be beneficial. I got about 6, 7, maybe even 8 videos in that series. Hauser, get momentum going to the plate earlier. It's been what we've been working on, or should have been working on for the last 3 months. So we'll notice as that leg is coming up, your body really isn't going towards the target any more than it was beforehand. What your body is doing is lifting that leg up faster and quicker, not nearly as high, and we're kind of just pushing the butt out. Elbows go up, butt goes out. Elbows go up, butt goes out. That's kind of what the new delivery is here, which is the same exact as the old delivery. It's just happening from a different point of the leg lift and a different alignment of that leg lift leg. But the body is still not going towards the target at all, right? This ear is going to go straight down this line here. And now we're as deep as we're going to sit into our delivery. And now we're just going to go forward. right? And because we don't have any energy going towards the target, all we have left in our body to go to the target is reach this leg out and start swooping this and opening this up early, so that way we have some ability to bring this through. And what we note is by the time that front foot does get into the ground all the way, by the time your front foot gets into the ground all the way, your shoulders have rotated fully. And what we learned with the big league examples in our original videos is that front foot needs to be into the ground with the shoulders still sideways. So when we sync these videos up from the side here, or from the two perspectives here, we're going to be able to see, especially with this front view, just how open your shoulders are by the time this front foot gets into the ground. We're already fully open. The reason we're open is because this front shoulder had to go flying open. The front shoulder's got to go flying open to try to get this to come through. And this is needs assistance coming forward and through because the body didn't take it forward, and therefore can't take it through with its energy that had gone forward. Right? And the reason is because we didn't start getting energy to go forward until right now, and then boom, we're already done going forward. It's just that small little window. So then everything's got to go to the side after that. So we need to revisit those drills of learning how to get momentum going towards the target early in our delivery. There's the 3 stages, and the video is found on the YouTube page in the Mechanical Drills playlist. And we need to commit ourselves to doing not just stage 3, because stage 3 is dependent on being really good at stage 1 and really good at stage 2. And before we can be good at stage 2, we got to first be good at stage 1. And oftentimes, you guys get bored doing the little fine detail things and want to get to the more advanced stuff or the more complex stuff. But it's the small little things that set up the foundation for the big things that take place. All right, big fella, throwing that chest down or getting that chin out in front at release so that hand can get released out in front at release. And what we're going to notice with this side-by-side with our new video on the right and the old video at the left, that it's very apparent that we are, in fact, getting that chest more out in front, that chin out more, and that hand more out. We will pause this one at the moment of release, or that ball starting to come out of your hand. And right there, we can just see with this and with this, let me take you back to foot strike of that, and we can see the difference of the amount of out in front you're getting at release. We can also see this by how much more we're able to stay in the ground because we're reaching out versus that whole body having to rotate out. So a lot more good things happening here. We can see that back leg is rotating you forward. I didn't even really catch this in the first one because I really wasn't even paying attention to your lower half, but now that I am, that lower half, especially this backside, is doing a really good job of extending and reaching, not reaching, but, getting us towards that target, getting that back hip to go. And we look at that old one, and it's just heel up, heel up, heel up, and then it's that toe getting Michael Jacksoned behind you, a little moonwalk, where that rotation has zero applied force to the upper body. Whereas now this right here is bam, turning over, which bam gets that to turn over, which bam gets that to drive, which as long as this stays back, that then goes bam into this torque, bam into this torque, which then wham Brings it out there. So a lot of good things. Now, the one thing I'm going to note is once we get to about right here, we don't need to have this still be down here. Yes, keep the eyes on the target. But let's think about starting to get stacked back up. What I mean by stacked back up is that's pull, just like if we were doing a deadlift, a Romanian deadlift, where we're not bending our knees at all, and it's just all chest and back, and we pull this up, right? We raise this thing back up, and as we do that, the leg then is able to go back down as we're going around, versus you staying down that whole time, right? And if we are able to stack our chest back up after the throw, that back leg, as it's coming up and around, won't end up way out in front of us no more, right? We down, let's start to stack ourselves back up. And as we're stacking ourselves back up, that's when this leg is coming back down and is able to land more over here, right? Because we would be more in this angle already, which would be dropping this leg down this way more versus it's still going out this way, trying to get to where this head is at, right? So then by the time we're here, we're fully tall, and this leg is then, bam, fully down, more over here, versus in front of you here, because you're still down here. I know I got a lot of shit on the screen here, because your head's still down. This is trying to get itself underneath that head. But if that head was more up here because we were tall, that foot would be more here, which would be more to the side with this one. So that's the next progression. I got a lot of confidence that you can do that because you already made a lot of good changes in your delivery. This one should be pretty simple. Slamming that chest down, and then once we're basically in that full extension, that tabletop position, bam, right here, we can think about starting to pull ourselves back up. We're in this nice flat tabletop. We can start to pull ourselves back up with that chest. All right. Same thing as we just got done discussing. I know you didn't watch it, but we're working on getting that chest to get down, that chin get out in front at release, helping our energy get sent towards the target more, which would result in more powerful throw and ultimately a more consistent throw. So at release, right? We're at release right here. If I was to take this guy and put him on top of this guy, we are looking almost identical, right? Kind of draw that angle, and those are basically the same. We get you to the moment of foot strike, belly button through the chest, belly button through the chest, and that's how much we're able to get out in front. And it's eerily identical, which means no change. Because if there was a change, we'd be able to see it. Even if it was a little one, we could see it. But because it looks so similar, we're able to say with a lot of confidence that there's no change. But what we do see a change of is the leg lift. But we're still doing a lot of hunching, right? We're still doing a lot of hunching. And because we're hunching, it gives you the illusion that you have energy going to the target, but you don't. You just have energy going down. Energy going down. Energy going down. So we need to work on 2 drills. How to gain ground towards the target during the leg lift. The very first video on the Mechanical Drills playlist on the YouTube page. And then we got to continue to work on our getting out in front through release. And that's with the drill that has me rotating into a pole, a beam, in a facility that looks very similar to this pole right here. And those would have been the video that would have been associated with our original video back in November. So we need to make sure that we're spending at least 5 minutes a day at home working on these 2 drills, which could be very easy to carve out 5 minutes in our day if we are using our time wisely. We were working on loading this arm up over the last 3 months since November. what we're going to see is this arm is moving almost exactly the same as before. And if anything, it may be even lower as it's rotating to try to get out in front than it was originally back in November. So I'll pause at the moment of foot strike. And as we've been saying, at the moment of foot strike, we need it to be, one, we need to make sure the shoulders don't open up and they stay closed. But let's imagine they were still closed. We would be going from back shoulder to front shoulder in a nice straight line. And then from back shoulder to elbow in a nice straight line. And then that throwing arm somewhere up in this type of angle, right? Creating that 90-degree angle in the armpit and that 90-ish degree angle in that elbow. And as we can see, your arm, you get to this position, but then your hand does not load up above your elbow. Instead, your elbow drops down to give the illusion that your hand went up. But if we draw a line from the top of your hand, the straightest I possibly can, as we get here, we can see that, yes, your hand did go up, but it's because that your elbow took it down. This much your elbow went down, and then your hand went that far up, and these distances here and here are almost the same. We then look over here, and from the back shoulder to the elbow, back shoulder to the elbow, and that's where I'm thinking it's almost even lower than before, which means it's going to have to go up higher, but it almost doesn't even go up higher. It's staying even lower than it ever has before. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with you here, because we've gone in the opposite direction of what we've been trying to work on the last 3 months, right? Please, baseball hats at baseball practice. Hand separation and the timing. All right, it's going to be your first opportunity to see, since these November videos, where this glove goes and how the hands move. And what we can see is that glove is getting out in front of us a little bit more, which is great. I'm glad to see that it's getting out in front a little bit more. But the positioning in which it's doing it is almost exactly the same, right? We got the hand up, palm is to you, instead of the thumb down and the palm more towards the target or towards the ground, right? Because now all we're going to do with this front arm is just pull it down, and then now we're trying to be consistent the rest of the way without our arm taking extra stress, and our arm really never being able to produce a lot of power because we're just not in a powerful position to throw from, right? So the arm path, it's got a little bit of rhythm to it, and that's mostly just because the hands are starting closer to the body. But if we really look, as soon as the hands separate, like if we note where this arm is at and the positioning it is with the rest of the body, and then we get to here, it's the same as it is here, right? It's just that because the hands didn't start that far away from your body, right, as they are here, and it's starting closer, the hand is still going there. So it looks like we get some rhythm in it, which is true. That is rhythm, but it's just to take us right back to where we always have been. And then it's the same path from there. Right? And this arm path is just, it's got no ability to have rhythm and flow and strength with the rest of our body, which is potentially why there's no strength being built in our lower half, and we're just kind of stepping, right? There's no getting this going away from the pitching rubber. We're not gaining a whole lot of ground. And we got these big, huge, long legs that we could use for our advantage to get us going down some more, getting us closer to the target. We got these long arms that we could get this ball released way out in front of us. But we need to get the rhythm going with those arms and that hand separation, and really dedicate time to being in a mirror and doing these drills every single night, a part of your nightly routine after you brush your teeth. Stand there with your gloves, staring at the mirror, and separate your hands and bring them back. Separate your hands and bring them back. Separate your hands and bring them back over and over and over and over again. It would take no more than 2 minutes to get 100 of those in, of just separate my hands, bring them back. You don't need to do anything with your lower body. Just stare at the mirror this way. Here's the mirror, and you're looking at it this way. Your eyes are not looking this way, you're looking this way. And you're just watching yourself. Separate your hands, and then bring them back. Separate your hands, and bring them back. Over and over and over and over again, exactly the way you want it to. So that way when you play catch, it can carry over there. And that way once you carry it over to catch, it has a chance to be carried over to the mound. Back leg, rotate forward. You're wearing almost exactly the same thing, but the best way to know is that the black and white Adidas on the right is the new, and the left is the old. Watching the back foot, and we're going to see that it's doing eerily similar movements as before. And because the back leg is not getting you to go forward with any energy, this front arm is going to have to yank and pull to get the the front shoulder out of the way, to pull this back shoulder forward, because the back hip is not going forward to help the back shoulder go forward. So we can just see how the back leg just kind of stops, like once we're here, like it's not rotating anymore. Like at least in the old video, the back hip, back knee, back foot wanted to keep rotating around. Now we're kind of just like got tasered and we're stiff. So we want to get back to our drills, really be thinking about going forward with that back leg as we throw. We should probably go on the in the mechanical drills playlist where there's the throw-in drills towards the bottom, and look at the different throw-in drills I'm doing and replicate those throw-in drills, because they're really designed for the back leg to be heavily involved with the throwing process. And that's what we need to work on the most. The last 3 weeks, we've been working on getting momentum going to the target earlier. As the leg is coming up, the body is going towards the target. What we're going to notice is, as that leg is coming up, the hips are going, but because we're looking down, we don't want to go anywhere but where our eyes are looking at. But if we could be looking at the target, our body may want to go to the target more, because now we're stuck here with no body movement going to the target yet. And we're just going to take this leg now, and we're just going to reach it out in front like before. We're going to just reach it out in front like before. Our body still has not really gone anywhere, right? Our body still really hasn't gone anywhere. And now that foot is, boom, in the ground. And now we're just kind of stuck with just these legs that are just reaching, right? We got no rotation in this front leg. This front leg here was fantastic, right? This back leg at least was rotated well. We're not quite really there yet. We would be there maybe now, right? Our upper body, I can definitely get behind this change here versus what we were doing over here. I can get behind that. But this glove finish is cool. This glove finish is cool. A lot of differences in the delivery, none of which were any of them that we were talking about or really working on. So this is definitely something for you to be trying to figure out. Why has this all gone the way it's gone? Is it intentional? Is it unintentional? All right, so you didn't have an original video because you weren't there the first day in November. So we don't have anything to compare your videos to. So we will just have this go through a couple times for you to be able to take a look at what you're looking like. We got this good leg lift. We got good hand separation. If you kind of note how we're really heavy with his heel hitting the ground first, it's going to be in a better interest of yours to be thinking landing flat and flush. The mound goes down. We don't want our foot then angled up. Okay. What we also want to think about is this backside leg, foot, knee, hip, firing sooner. You're getting heel into the ground, and then now they fire. Now they fire. Now they fire. We want them to fire and then put our foot in the ground, which means if our foot was not in this angle here, but was in this angle here, we would not be in the ground yet, which means when this, and this fires, it would be putting our foot into the ground instead of our foot falling down from the heel into the toes. From there, everything here is looking good. Chin and shoulder are right in line, so you're looking down it. That glove is up into that body, keeping that good alignment, maximizing our separation as we're coming through. Head staying on target. Chest is reaching out in front. Head's trying to stay locked in. Glove staying nice and disciplined in our body. We got we got a lot of energy coming through, and as we can see, holy hell, this pitch right here, we get airborne. I don't know if I've seen that, and damn, that's wild. So what we want to think about is as we're getting here, right, your chest has gone from straight up and down at foot strike to out in front at the moment of release, right? We need to then, after release, allow it to come through a little bit more. Right? Now, would your body have been able to do that if we didn't have that weird, awkward bounce on that one? Potentially. It's hard to tell on this delivery because you're not bouncing on this one. So it's tough to tell if that chest does keep going down. It looks like it does. So this just could have been this particular pitch just could have been an anomaly. But I would be curious to hear if you do feel yourself doing this type of movement while you're pitching on the somewhat regular. If so, we'll look into that some more. You were not here on day 1 in November to get the original videos, so therefore we don't have anything to compare to. However, there have been things that I have mentioned to you that we need to be working on. One of that is, as that leg is coming up, not just hunching backwards and down, but gaining ground towards the target. We had that drill of how to gain ground during our leg lift that had 3 stages that we showed you and hopefully have been working on at home, or should have been working on at home, because this is when it matters, being able to get energy going to the target. And because we don't have much energy going to the target, we're going to have to brute force our way there. And as we can see, as that front foot is getting into the ground, into the ground, into the ground, that throwing arm is already coming through. And it's already coming through because your body does not have a whole lot of energy going this way. So the only way to bring this thing this way forward is by taking this thing that way. So because the front foot's not down the ground yet, we got to make sure the shoulders stay here. But because we don't have a whole lot of energy taking us forward, this is going to go out here. Boom. Now the foot's in the ground. Now we can see the arm. Now we're left with a whole lot less power, energy, and command. And also, and even more importantly, we have a lot more stress on this arm to make this throw. Because now the arm is coming through with almost no external layback. And we're just going forward. All right? Kind of just pushing this baseball. We're kind of just pushing this baseball. So we really want to make sure we get back to the drills of learning how to get going towards the target during the leg lift and not going down and hunching. You got all this hunching just to have to come back out of that hunch. And then even more so out of that hunch. If we look, there's not a whole lot of need for the ball to go way back here if we're not going to be able to keep it loaded back here. Because it, as quickly as it goes way back there, watch how quickly now it goes way over here. Right? So what's the point of even bringing it over here if it's going to go to here next? If anything, if the ball is going to be here and the glove is here and they start here, the ball should just go out to here. Right? No need to go back behind you a country mile if a split second later it's going to be on the other side of your body. Right? Because we need to load this arm back here. But we know your arm loads over here. And it's loading over here because it went from here this way. So it's going to want to continue to go that way. So I know coach has been talking about that arm. I've talked about that arm. Plus the drills that we've done with getting our momentum going to the target. No excuse for us not to be able to say, I know how I can work on this. I know how I can fix these things. From here, it's just the dedication to do it at home to get better.